Day 4 of Chicago Bears training camp. Welcome in, everybody. I hope you are being hydrated. Hope you're staying out of that heat the best you can. Hey, I got a lot of good stuff to get to, bunch of notes. I got my guys with me today. We also have a special guest coming on at any time now. Sean Sierra from Sports Zone Chicago will be here to kick it and rock with us for the whole show. And so I'm looking forward to that. Again, man, it's just I keep seeing all these people are hyped, and they're not being hyped just because they're Bears fans. I think they're experiencing something that they're not used to as a Chicago Bears fan. I know for a fact, and I haven't been there, but just what I see on video, some of the clips I see out there, some of the takes on Twitter, it appears to me that Justin Fields is really in command of this thing, and those weapons around him. You could tell the connection between DJ Moore and himself. It's like it's otherworldly already, and it's starting to sound like it did when Jamar Chase got to Cincinnati. And so I'm thinking that's going to be the vibe going into the season. I think those two are going to rip things up, man. And I don't know if Bears fans are quite prepared for how explosive this team can be. And I'm talking about on both sides of the ball, but especially on offense, man. The things that I'm hearing, I've never heard before as a Bears fan. I've never heard things like this, man. It's usually been pretty rough this part of the season, but that's not what I'm hearing. It's not what I'm seeing when I look at video clips and listen to people's takes. It's just ringing endorsements is what I keep hearing of Justin, the offense, and what they're doing out there. You even hear the guys, his teammates at the podium. You even hear them saying the same thing. So it's something to it. And so, let me bring our guys in, man. We got Triple R's with us today. My guy Sam Rush is here today. Samo is on the show and he's producing as well. My man Kez from Canada. I think that's what we need to rename you. Kez from Canada.
Kez the Canuck. Kez the Canuck.
The Canuck.
Yeah, he's getting his first taste behind the scenes, and he's getting a little producing in too. So he's getting his feet wet. So you guys in the comment section, keep bringing them. Keep bringing the questions, man, and hopefully we'll have time to get all of that stuff answered, man. So how you guys feeling today?
All good, man. Like you said, a lot of good news coming out of training camp. The Justin Fields and DJ Moore, that 1-2 connect is definitely a problem. Seems like for the defense, they're getting tired of it, and Bears fans are hearing about it, and we're all loving it, man. Finally, I know you said something about Chase and your boy in Cincinnati, but I immediately thought about the other connection in Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, man, and what he did for what happened when Stephon Diggs joined that offense and how they just took off and have been clicking ever since. It seems like, man, we're well on our way. I think our offense is going to be just dynamic this season, just with all the speed that we have, and I'm just happy to hear that, man. Seems like it's coming together.
And I raise you Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, to let that professional wide receiver come into the building and guide the offense with that leadership, with that reliability, and with that knowing that, hey, I can do this in this league because I've done it before on a very high level. So y'all come on, watch how I do this.
I'm going to double down, bro. I'm going to double down on your Jalen Hurts, right? Because with AJ Brown coming over, that opened up the world for Smith on the other side. And that's the type of stuff we're about to see. We're going to see Darnell Mooney get a heck of a lot less double teams. We're likely going to see similar things for Chase Claypool, Velus Jones. You go through the roster, Tyler Scott, etc. Things are going to open up a heck of a lot more because of that number one wide receiver. You guys are hitting the nail on the head. Now, I want to say one last thing because we started this conversation off about the Bengals. Mr. Joe Burrow had a little bit of an accident today. A little bit of a boo-boo today. So he was running a regular drill, took a couple of steps to roll out to the right, and immediately realized that he put too much pressure on that ankle, on that leg, and started hobbling and got carted off for today. So, injuries happen, man. That's one of the things that we all have to hope and keep our fingers crossed for, is that we make it through training camp without any mishaps like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Breaking news, kids.
There you go.
That was yesterday. That was yesterday's news, but
was it yesterday? I caught it today, but considering what we do here, I don't follow the Bengals like that, right? So it is what it is.
All right, hey, J2K put up, and I came prepared to speak on this, and I'm glad he brought it up. He says after hearing Poles and Jalen talk about his contract, it sounds like they both want to get a deal done, and it's just down to the details. Do you guys get the same impression? I absolutely got the same impression. As a matter of fact, I want to say this publicly right now, that I'm very proud of Jalen Johnson right now, and his mindset right now is it felt good to hear Jalen being realistic about his contract status, and he's got the right perspective. He's basically he understands, and I put you in the mind of somebody that played cornerback. The confidence thing that you have to be able to go out, play in and play out, be able to flush a play and have the same. I mean, you could have got dog beat the play before that. You got to have enough confidence to flush that play, come back with the same confidence, and tell yourself you're going to dominate this guy in front of you on this rep. With that kind of confidence, I could see it bleeding over into contract negotiations, right? You can imagine what he thinks of himself, and I'm glad to know that he's got enough sense and awareness to know that, hey, I'm not there yet. I got a lot of improvement to make. I didn't put up Stephon Diggs type numbers. I don't have his kind of accolades, and I can't go to the table and ask for that kind of money. What that says to me is I believe after that presser, that got them closer to making a deal. Ryan Poles was definitely hearing that, and he's gonna approach Jalen and like, hey man, look, you want to get this thing done before we get into camp, and you can concentrate or not, and let's get it done. So I see him after that presser, definitely J2K getting closer to getting the deal done.
So is it breaking news that he's out?
Who?
He's got a sprained ankle. Joe Burrow. He's out for the rest of for at least another couple of weeks for sure.
Oh, I think he had a strained calf or something. I thought it might have been an Achilles or something. But that's what they'll say, when you got Achilles and they trying to hide
that's
it.
That's Cincinnati's problem, y'all.
They're calling it a calf strain.
That's the Cincinnati problem. This the Bears. So I ain't thinking about whatever. Yeah, more power to Joe Burrow. I wish him good health, but hey, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna say this though, Nomad. The past couple of days, I think, us as a team, we've been clicking just as the Bears have been clicking, because a lot of times you speak first on these podcasts about the different topics, and I'm just been going crazy the past couple of days because my notes have been matching up with your comments so crazy, dog. And the past couple of days, I think last night you were asking questions that I was about to ask right before I was about to ask something. It just says a lot about us as a team and how we see the game very similar, and how we hear things and that stick out to us. And that's exactly what I said here, is that Jalen Johnson wants to be a Bear and has realistic contract expectations after comments about Trayvon Diggs being on a whole nother level than he is, and having that all-pro status and having 17 interceptions in his career. Like, I also felt that same way about him. Like, maybe he has come down some and realizes that, maybe I'm not one of those dudes, but I deserve money. And because Herb even called him out on it, and he said, like, no, I'm not saying I'm not one of those dudes, but he's saying he recognizes that he doesn't have those accolades yet, which he doesn't, and that those accolades are what gets the contract done easily, and his is just a little harder.
That was Herb that kind of said, wait a minute, you just said that you weren't all pro top 5, but now you're saying that you are all pro top 5. He was like, oh no, but I can cover, and like that was cool. But I need some clarity from anybody in the chat, anybody in our esteemed panel here. What was the do-rag joke or the head wrap or what?
He was just trying to throw the reporters off a little bit, trying to
stalling.
Disarm him, I guess.
Yeah, he was stalling, I thought, for time, man. He just, he only had so much time. So he's like, if I spend a minute talking about this, then that's one less minute that we have to that I have to be sitting up here. That's how I looked at it. Like,
okay, it was just very odd.
It was.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if in the next couple of days, 2-3 days, they announce a deal get done with Jalen, because I just appreciated his perspective and his self-awareness and knowing where he is in his career, knowing that he's not there for the top tier money. He can get there. He's just got some stuff he needs to work on. So I did definitely appreciate that in him.
One thing he said that also stuck out to me was he was asked about having a new DB's coach and John Hoke. And, this is Hoke's, for fans that don't know, this is John Hoke's third stint here as a Bears DB coach. Each year that we had John Hoke, man, there's always been a DB who didn't have those interceptions in the past who turns it around. It was Kyle Fuller. When he became Kyle Fuller's coach, Kyle Fuller turned it around and started picking the ball off a little bit more. And before that, it was, the guy with Lovey, who was opposite Peanut. I can't think of his name right now. If somebody in the chat want to throw it up, I know J2K. I know you got it. I just can't think of his name right now. He led the league in interceptions.
Or somebody?
Not Nathan Vasher. It was after Nathan Vasher. He led the league in interceptions. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick because I'm just drawing a blank. But that's another dude whose career he turned around, and I'm hoping that maybe that's just what Jalen needs, because he even mentioned, the guy breaks down route concepts and offenses so well that he's looking forward to, utilizing that once the season starts. So maybe, coaches of the past just haven't been able to connect with him for that. Tim Jennings, that's what it is. It was Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jesse James.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm hoping happens for him as this, this year comes about. But he also said that he would rather get paid earlier than later. So
I'll tell you guys one thing: keep refreshing your Twitter. Keep an eye on Twitter, man, because things is happening quick. Anything could be happening right now. We don't know it. But yeah, man, it was refreshing to see that, man. And before we go into talking about Jalen Johnson today, I believe it was Jason McKee said that Jalen had a pretty good day out there today. I saw one tweet. Somebody said he got cooked by I think Claypool or DJ, one of them. But yeah, but other than that, he's having a good camp so far. So far so good for him.
Yeah, I heard the same. Yep, I heard the same. He's doing well in the matchup against DJ Moore even. They're battling it out. I think that'll be good for him. He even mentioned that as well.
That iron sharpening iron out there, man. You have no idea as a DB how much more sharp you can get when you practice with a top-tier receiver every single day in practice. That is that's almost like a gift. That's like an extra. Like, dang, I get to play against this dude every day. So they ain't gonna get no more top tier than he is, man. He's upper echelon, man. That's the kind of guy you want to deal with on a day-to-day basis. If you want to be a great corner, that's your way to do it. You get good at stopping this cat in practice, you on your way. Triple R, you gonna speak or what you gonna do, man?
No, we good.
Oh, okay. Kez, what do you think about that?
I'm square, bro. I'm good.
Okay, let's talk about this guy right here, man. Terrell Lewis, man. Again, it's day 4, and I've heard his name being mentioned every single day. This guy keeps popping out. Yes, they're still in shorts. Yes, this isn't real football just yet. But when you keep hearing a name like that nobody's really talking about, and he's just popping out at camp day in and day out, the same thing's gonna happen when he puts on pads. Expect it. So what do you guys think about that?
It's like you said about go ahead, Trip.
No, go ahead, Rashama. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like you said about confidence, man. I think that's a guy who's seeing early success in camp and the entire offseason, and this is a new defense for him. So maybe his confidence is just up right now. I'm hoping it, goes on, once the pads come on, when guys are able to be a little more physical with him, that's one thing that we do know. Like the offensive lineman can't be physical with these defensive ends, but for everything we've heard so far, man, he has been a camp standout the entire offseason, and it's welcomed because we've been talking about this defensive end position being a need for so long, and we may have found our dude. I know, Nomad, you pointed that out as soon as the Bears signed him.
Yeah, our guy, the Superback, just popped in on what's up, baby.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
What up?
What's up, Sean?
Thank you for rocking with us, man. How's it going?
Man, things are going all right, bro. They're going all right.
All right, that's what I want to hear, man. How excited are you, man? You've been seeing Twitter and hearing all these people rave about DJ and that 1 and 2 combination. Are you as excited as I am?
Go DJ. That's my DJ. Go DJ. That's my DJ.
Hey, you guys,
forward to hearing that.
It's not even funny, bro. It's not even funny. To watch a number one receiver here. I mean, we haven't had this since Brandon Marshall, and Brandon Marshall didn't have DJ's kind of speed. Remember Brandon Marshall was catching everything, and that was nice to see. But this dude could do it all, and it's really going to be exciting to see. And then I don't know if you saw earlier, I had that clip of Tyler Scott running by that man. Now you got him running by people too. So what do you get? It's gonna be something nasty this year, and I'm excited about it.
I know one thing, Sean. The more and more footage that keeps coming out with DJ and Justin, it just had me. I'm like, what? I've seen this, and then I started looking back at the training camp of the Bengals had when they got, Jamar
Chase. Jamar Chase.
Yes, and it looks exactly the same, man. And they went out there and ripped the league, just absolutely ripped the league. I'm telling you, if you want to see some interesting stuff, go look at that training camp tape of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and you'll start seeing exactly what I'm talking about.
When they were interviewed the other day at camp, the first day, there was an energy between them that if you watch it, you just felt it. Like they were just cool. Like they were A1s from day one. You know what I mean? Like they used to grow up and hang out at each other's crib. Like they were that comfortable. They had that type of energy, and mind you, he was wearing a Sox hat, so he does have some common sense, which is good.
He said he owns the Cubs hat as well now.
He did, but they didn't get to say. I only pull it out when I run out of toilet paper. He didn't say. They didn't catch that part.
And we all just get along, Cubs fans, Sox
You know
fans.
what? You're right.
Oh no,
You're right. You know what? Baseball divides us, and football unites us. So we'll stick with football.
Somebody took a beating in the stadium stands. I seen on Twitter somewhere. I don't know.
Bro, stop it. You know what? That was my dude, Sweet. I was talking to him today.
You serious, man?
I am dead serious. He's like, and because I didn't know what he was talking about, and I was like, dude, what are you talking? He goes, the one. He goes, I said, is that the one? I asked, was that you? I said, I saw. He goes, yeah. He goes, that was my Sweet. So it was. Here's all it was. Here's what it was. It's crazy. They were fighting during the game. So what it was, they were in a suite. There's no assigned seats in the suite. All right. So an older couple they were waiting there, but said before the gates opened, they were like waiting there like 2 hours before, 3 hours beforehand, just waiting. They got in, they got their seats. And a girl that from where he worked brought 2 other people. There were no seats when they got there. He said they got there at 7:30 and there were no seats and they were mad. And they're like, well, I told you, it's first come, first serve. The gentleman and the lady who'd been there got up, went to the bathroom, and they went and took their seats.
Oh,
so
hell.
that's how it popped off. That's how it popped off. Yeah. So it was all over seats. And they said it was the girl who was running her mouth, and the girl who was running her mouth was getting kicked in, and they were beating her up. Coming to find out, she's prego. I'm like, why would you be running your mouth like that, dude? And you didn't even. I'm like, so yeah, there's gonna be some crazy stuff, dude. Crazy stuff. When I found out that was my, and then when I went and looked at it again, I'm like, dude, there's my guy. I'm like, oh man, that was nuts.
Did somebody press charges?
As of now, no.
Oh, you better hope, man. They ain't gonna play around if that's messed up, bro.
What I told him, I said, yeah, I said, I hope not. And he said, because he talked to the security. He's like, you know what? They won't get out of their seats. He's like, hey, this is your suite for the event. I can't make people get up. There's no assigned seats. You do what you know what I mean? So yeah, but he said the Sox were cool with it. They're cool with him because he does a lot of fan deck parties. He actually had the suite both games. So, Sox ain't, there's one thing about Sox ownership. They ain't turning down money.
I bet you they ain't. Hey, Sean, are you gonna get out to camp at all this year? Or are you
Yeah, I'll be out there.
What,
I'm not sure what I'll be there. I'll be at Fan Fest too. But I didn't see which days. I haven't decided which days I'm gonna be there, but yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. We're trying our best to make sure we get some bodies out there at least for one practice or scrimmage or something, man. But anything you get out there, man, hey man, you're welcome to bring it here because we would love to broadcast it. Anything you can take, any videos, anything. Love to have you back on here, man. So just give the fans what they want, man.
Yeah, man, no problem. I don't have a problem with that. So it'll be fun. I can't wait. And so what I'm gonna do this year, because if they allow me, if I can get in that second level where I'm overhanging, or if not, I'm gonna have to be as far back as possible where I'm still not covered up in the bottom part of the bowl, because I really want to look down on the stuff at FanFest, which is gonna be a little more vanilla, but still at least I have a little better view. Because training camp you can't get really much of a good view. They have those old school, like the visitor stands at a high school football game. Those visitor stand size, yeah, it's not very tall, not very high.
So, Sean, hey, I want to ask you, man, outside the obvious, right? Everybody's going to be hyper-focused on DJ and Justin and Chase Claypool and all that stuff. What really intrigues you about this camp, and what will, outside of that situation, what's going to get your attention out there, you think?
I'm a football guy, dude. So it starts at the line, offense and defense. And, the fact is, I think they did a great job with the offensive line. Nate Davis has a reputation of being nasty. Wright has a reputation of being nasty from Tennessee. We know with Tevin, dude, they had a reel in Tevin Jenkins last year. Like, dude, you cannot be putting people 3 rows in. Sideline is fine, okay, but you can't throw them 3 rows deep. Which, you know what, I would rather have to reel him in than try and hype him up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I love that. And then, truth be told, Braxton Jones was probably one of our best run blockers last year anyway because of his agility. So now if he can anchor, now you're giving Justin time. He ain't got to worry about his backside. So the offensive and defensive line where I'm looking at, I'm really excited to see, because if they can start getting, with the nastiness that they have on run plays, because if you can't stop the run and as a defense, you're screwed. Play action kills you. Tight ends kill you. Deep overs, deep crossers kill you. So if they can do that, I'm really anxious to see how well this O-line gels, because if they do, man, Justin will come close to 4,000 yards. I think he'll get it next year for sure, but he'll come close this year if they run the ball like that, like they want to. Yeah, they're gonna do a lot of damage, and a lot of people are gonna be surprised. Not us who know about it. No, we're not gonna be surprised, but they're gonna be surprised at what this offense is gonna do and this team is gonna do.
And you know something, Sean, I wouldn't kid you. Even though I'm a former DB, I would be, if I don't care anything about. I like the shorts practices. It's all good, man. It's good for the fans to get out there and see these guys flying around. But I'm disinterested in it for the most part, other than having to do these shows. But
right.
When those pads come on,
that's a whole another story.
If I could stand right on top of the defensive line and watch how they're progressing, watch how they're, being able to turn corners from the edge and being able to beat the tackles and things like that, I would be hyper focused on the defensive line.
Yeah. See, you're a DB, so you want the D line because that helps you. I'm a running back. Exactly. My trade. I want to know how that offensive line is gonna do for me. You know what I mean? So it makes sense. But yeah, it's you want to see if how well they can run that circle. You know what I'm saying? How well they can run that rail, so to speak, and get to that quarterback around that tackle. I want to see the explosiveness of Javon Dexter Sr. All right, everyone talked about, the scheme. It was different. He was read and react. Okay, cool. But they keep talking about how explosive he is. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see how explosive you are. All we really need, truth be told, he just needs to live 1 yard in the backfield. That's all he needs to do. Live 1 yard in the backfield. Because if you do that, this stops the run. And if it stops the run, man, that passing down become predictable. All right, you can adjust. You can run stunts, twists, a whole bunch of other blitzes, whatever, because you know it's 3rd and 8. So keep them in 3rd and 6 and longer. And man, there we go.
That's what I've been preaching all season as well, Sean. Man, we have to earn the right to rush the passer. Our defense was just bad last year because we couldn't stop the run. It seems like they put an emphasis on stopping the run when they signed those linebackers and got
the
those
Billings
2,
character. The Billings dude is that dude.
And got those 2. And got all those defensive tackles. We got three defensive tackles that are able to stop the run now. So hopefully, everything just works out and the defense gels and the offense gels, man. There's no defense that's going to be able to cover this speed if Justin Fields has time to sit in the pocket. There's no defense that's going to be able to cover all these fast receivers, man. Justin is going to pick people apart. He could hit that 4,000 mark this year. I think it's all going to be on that offensive line. I'm looking forward to next week and seeing these guys be able to get physical with each other and just develop, get that hand placement together and all that stuff, man. It all seems like it's coming together, man. It's just an exciting time to be a Bear fan.
But I want to see the competition. I want to see Alex Leatherwood. You're a former first rounder. All right, you just got supplanted. All right, so are you cool being second team? Because that's where you're gonna start. All right, if you're not, then do something about it. Jatiri Carter, same thing. You cool being second team, or do you want more tick? That kid Chad Huey or something out of Pitt that I wanted. The dude's crazy. That's the dude I want him to line up as eligible and wham block a 3 tech. Are you happy with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the one thing that I'm really happy with about Ryan Poles is every single position he's created competition. Every single one. Except quarterback, we don't need competition there because we got the dude. But every other position, he's created competition. And if you want to leave because of a contract dispute, no problem. We got your replacement. If you want to stay, no problem. We still got competition. So hats off to him. And this is what you want. You want young guys. You got hungry. You got veteran guys who want another contract. It's everybody. It's like the lion and the gazelle. If you ever heard that old it's not a poem, but the old poem, not a poem, but it's like a story. Parable. There you go.
Parable.
Yeah. So, whether you wake up in the morning in Africa, you got to be running regardless, whether you're being chased or whether you're chasing. So I love it. And hats off to Ryan Poles. He did one hell of a job getting this organized or this team set up the way he did.
I do like what I think was Jesse James said, man. This is very relevant. A lot of yak yards after the catch will get him to 4,000 yards. He's talking about Justin. I think that's going to make 1,000 yards pretty easy, just because of the type of weapons he has. He's got all these different body types. These guys with these different traits. From a big dude, from EQ and Chase, to mid-sized guys like DJ, Valus. I mean, Mooney. Those guys are real shifty. I mean, you talking about dropping that ball off and let road runners be road runners, man. So he's got a team full of that kind of stuff. And so to me, people think of 4,000 yards is some lofty expectation. I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all.
And I know that a lot of what the comment I'm about to make directly affects that 4,000 yard possibility. But to carry on with that analogy, I'm looking for one of these young lions of the Serengeti to displace Cody Whitehair and take that position. And so now you don't have that veteran presence, granted not at center, but a new center, to work with Justin Fields. I don't know whether it be Kramer. I don't know whether it be Island. I don't know whether it be Patrick. I don't know whether it be Carter, who. But I want somebody to say, yes, I'm the new center on this line. This is my job now. I'm the captain. Go away.
Do you really want some inexperienced guy playing?
Bingo.
You know what I mean? You got to think about
the thing is, everybody's inexperienced, so they get some experience. And if it's not this year, it's going to be next year, because how long are we going to have Cody for? And if we are going to have a situation where it's an open battle in camp and it's not weighted toward the veteran or toward the heavier contract, and it's just based on athletic ability and the smarts being able to do it, I would be willing to go with those growing pains to build a cohesive team going forward than just having a a stand-in right now, and then next year gonna have to replace him anyway.
Why do you think he's gonna be a stand-in though?
Hold on, I got you, Trip. Because see, I built this rocket, man, and I'm thinking about sending it to the moon, man. But I need a test drive. You want to jump in that one for me? You want to be my you want to be my rocket driver? You know, Justin don't want no experiment going on around here. He needs somebody to be solid. Yeah. And I think they put Whitehair there for somebody they know can be solid and really anchor for him.
Well, the thing is, I understand that we are thinking about the 23-24 season right now, right here in front of us. But just put on your GM hats. You know, long term, what is Whitehair going to get you at his age and his price tag? Is he part of the long term future? This team right now is expected to compete for the North. You know, is Whitehair, you know, going to be a part of that going forward beyond this year? So eventually the change is going to have to take place. It's either going to be now or it's going to be next year. You know, if we're going to, you know, be an up and coming team, let's have the changes now. Let's let them build and grow together. And then next year they have that year of experience under their belt instead of now starting from scratch with a new center.
Well, like Sean said, it's open competition all over the team, man. And I think that includes offensive line. I think that right now Cody is the starter, and I'm confident that, you know, he's the best man for the position right now. However, if someone comes in and takes that job and they just show out, because we hear continuously Flukes and Poles say they don't put ceilings on guys. You know, if guys are out there playing and they're playing well, then those are guys who are going to play. You know, if someone will have to go and take that position from Cody, though, I don't think that anyone's going to be given that position. I think that, you know, for this season, though, Cody is the guy. He is the guy. Even though, you know, he has his faults, you know, he's older, you know, he has his
31.
snap issues. He has the snap issues as well. But, you know, right now, he's the best man for the job until someone else proves that to be different.
But you could also rotate him, which is not ideal. You know what I mean? But if you're in a shotgun most of the time, then it really doesn't matter. And truth be told, I don't think anybody can be as erratic as shotgun snapping as Cody has been. You know what I mean? So if you want to put, you know, Kramer, you know, get him a series here, get him a series there, you know, get certain people a series here or there. Now, you know, what you're saying is now you're giving him experience. So if you do want to move on from Cody next year, you got a guy who's been there, you got a guy who's been in there, who's called the plays, who's played, who's got everything. You know what I'm saying? He's got experience, which is what you need.
So here's my take on this, Triple R. I would be in full agreement with you if we drafted somebody in this draft. If we drafted a center. If we drafted a center and he was able to rise to the occasion, beat out Cody. And we also have to remember Lucas Patrick is right behind Cody on that depth chart when it comes to center. I think we're okay at center for this year and potentially next. Is Cody a part of that long-term case scenario? No, Triple R, you're 100% right. They will be looking at some point to move on from Cody Whitehair. Mind you, that might just be moving over to Lucas Patrick if he can survive a season. We might see Lucas Patrick at some point this season, you know, if something winds up happening to Cody along the way. And again, hopefully he's able to show improve and show up. Kramer's taking the snaps. I was just checking the chat there. He's taking some snaps with the offense right now, which is good to see. I'd like to see these guys get some opportunity, but I really don't see any shift in that specific position moving forward. I think they want stability and experience there right now.
I agree. I think you're going to want a guy, but you're going to want to make sure the young guy's vetted. You know what I mean? You're going to want to make sure. And that's why if you sneak a guy in a couple series, you know, and he starts playing well, you know, you can, you know, what's to say you can't say, okay, you got 3 series this week, you got 4 series next week. What's it mean? You got 4 or 5 series the next, you know what I mean? And you know, Cody understands it. He understands the business. He understands it's not always going to be nice. And he understands he's 31 years old. He just turned 31 earlier this month. So he understands that. He understands the age game. He understands you talked about Nomad, you talked about the consistency. Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning were there for how long? You know what I'm saying? That was his due. So if you get a Doug Kramer, you get an Dieter Eisen, somebody who's in there who's a lot younger. Well, guess what? He'll be there. You anticipate him being there for the next 5 to 7 years, and you have the stability with him and Justin. So when he goes under center, he's very familiar with the way he snaps the ball. It's all about familiarity, so you just got to get in. If you want to go younger, you can. You just got to do it slowly but surely.
I definitely see Tripp's our resident lazy boy GM, man. He's always looking for a bargain somewhere, man. And see, it's about continuity. And one guy, I think it was James Ford earlier, mentioned how did that experimental offensive line look last year. That's just it, man. Don't muck this up. Let those guys. I think Cody being at center is a serious upgrade for the stability of your O-line. The last thing you want is to be experimenting with a guy that's not proven. This last time Cody made the Pro Bowl, he was playing center, and so we know what he can do. It's about you looking a little too far down the line. Let's get through this year, and if this is what we need to do for this year, some stability, we can talk about tomorrow. But I do love the move of putting Cody at, and then having that backup the Lucas Patrick. I think it's pretty strong. It sounds strong to me, So I feel good about the center position now.
And don't forget Kramer too. Kramer's a youngster, and he's going to want to get some tick, and that's exactly what I talked about. Now you got competition. Kramer realizes his NFL life, could be in a balance here, so he's got to show out. And if he wins the job, that's even better for the Bears because he was a lower round pick. He'll probably be here for, like I said, 4, 5, 6, 7 years if he can keep that. And guess what? His contract down the line, unless he becomes an All-Pro, which will be great for all parties, but his contract isn't going to be that big because of where he was drafted.
There's also the fact that I feel like the addition of DJ Moore and the speed now that we have at receiver position is also going to help the offensive line because now we don't have to face those 8 and 9 man boxes anymore. Team defenses are going to be crazy to try to stack a box against us if we have all this speed on the outside because you know what? You know what's going to happen? Justin Fields just going to audible out of that run and we're going to hit run pass right behind that, with all the speed that we have. So, and I think that'll also, just help our offensive line, in general.
I disagree with you though, bro. I disagree with you because I think they're gonna want that box loaded. They're gonna want it. They're gonna force you with that run game. They're gonna force you to stop. All right, stop Khalil Herbert, stop Rojo, stop Deontay, stop this. And I think they're gonna do that. Exactly.
Yes, they're going to be crazy to do that. They're going to be crazy. Any defense that does that,
can't do that, bro.
Defenses will start that early on. They're going to try to load that box early on, and then we're going to hit right behind them. We can play action off. We go either going to play action or Justin's just going to audible out of that play and call a slant and hit somebody going across the field, and somebody's going to hit their head on the goalpost, man. You can't play defense like that with all this speed. We have too much speed on the outside now. We have 4 guys at 3 or 4 different positions. There's no way I don't think a defense is going to be able to defend.
You're just proving the point that how awesome this offense is going to be. You're just proving that point and how I don't know if it was my show or someone said in here earlier. Pick your poison. Pick your poison. What you're going to do? And don't forget. Let's not forget. I think Justin can run the ball too if things break down. I'm not sure.
Sean, not only that. I don't know if you heard, but just I think talking to Justin, or I think it might have been an interview with his father, but they got off of him. They took the reins off of him. He can call his shots at the line now. That was something he wasn't able to do last year. He was just getting acclimated to a new system. Now they took the reins off. If he sees something and him and DJ is communicating, him and Chase or any one of them, he can call a shot at the line of scrimmage. So that's going to make him double dangerous.
Oh, dude. Man, when I played, my quarterback did that, dude. We come to the line and he audible. And our check was a 600 number was a check. And then, we had the route tree. So if it was 624 or 658, the 6 is dead. The outside guy runs the 5, the inside guy runs the 8, whatever. And our quarterback is just key. Man, he was amazing at it. He saw safeties creeping up. He was like, all right, check. 686 to one side, 619 to the other side. I mean, it was amazing. And if he can do that, because I don't mind, who to remind me of? Cam. Remember that there's that clip of Cam going, oh, okay, I see. Watch this. And he audibles out of something and it throws a touchdown. Dude, if he's able to do that, because now he's more comfortable, because now he's more familiar with not just the offense, but with defenses.
Yep.
Man, that could be nothing nice, man. We you know, we'll have a long time, a lot of years in the future to talk shit to a lot of people, because we'll have that dude who can really, you know, give it to you in a way you don't like it.
Sean, I think people have been so deprived offensively over the years and the decades with Chicago. It's hard for them to really accept that, hey, guess what? Finally, you got the dude we've been looking for. We've been looking for this guy for decades. We got him, and there's a deep reservation there because of the trauma, man. I'm telling you,
PTSD.
But this is why we need this season, right? This is exactly what this season is supposed to be. This season is the season of offense. They're finally going to have the opportunity to maybe eclipse 3,500 yards, maybe eclipse 4,000 yards passing. These are possible, right? Like, we've gone this far. We've seen nothing even remotely close to this. Like, imagine Mitch and Jay Cutler are the guys who are holding the titles in that regard, outside of Sid Luckman.
No, Eric Kramer.
Eric Kramer. So he's a tippy top.
38, I want to say. 38, 58.
Don't be mentioning no Sid Luckman, because Chris gonna come back in here and put Cecil Turner on him. He the only one person in the world know who that guy is, man.
He keeps that in his back pocket, that gift. But you know what I'm saying? We finally have an opportunity in a potential case scenario where we have the offensive weapons to do exactly that. And I just want to see it. I want to see it happen this year. If it happens this year, guys, that's my Super Bowl. I'm good.
Man.
Maybe my expectations are low, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see some explosive offense, to watch some awesome football this year on the offensive side of the ball, and have a good time doing it. If we can get into the playoffs, in some capacity too, great. But that's really what I'm expecting this year. I'm expecting to see some offensive football in Chicago.
See,
Joseph says we're going to the same place. No, man.
You go, Sean.
He's like one or two players carrying the load. Like, I don't see. So Joseph, what don't you see as a complete? We had Cole Kmet, who just re-signed. He had 7 touchdowns last year. Robert Tonyan, we just signed him from Green Bay. He had 7 or 8 touchdowns last year. God forbid they both equal last year. That's 14 touchdowns from the tight end position. We just got a number 1 receiver. Now we got 2 legit number 2 receivers, and whoever gets bumped to number 3 is going to be a phenomenal number 3 receiver, either Darnell Mooney or Chase Claypool. And you got 3 good running backs who are all fighting for something. You got Khalil Herbert, who's trying to keep his job. You got Deontay Foreman, who's trying to win the job or audition for somebody else.
He's telling you misread it. You didn't.
Yeah, he believes all of that. Joseph he believes all of that.
Got you, Joseph. Okay,
he's on board. Yeah.
Okay. My bad, Joe. My bad.
He still can't believe it, is what he's saying.
That's what he's just saying. Okay. Like, he just can't believe it right now.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Because what he's saying is what I'm really believing in. Our recent lifetime. You look at Vince Evans, Kramer, Jim Miller, Henry Burris, Jay Cutler, Rex Grossman, Mitch Trubisky. Which one of those SOBs has the physical abilities and talents of Justin Fields with the leg and the arm? Now you put that mental, aspect with it, and you surround them by weapons. This season the Chicago Bears, for a change, the offense will carry the water, for most of the time, while the defense is young and up and coming and learning. As opposed to every season, it's always about the defense and running the ball.
It'll be a different thing across the board. This is something we've never had an offense. We've never had an offense with 2 number 2 receivers on it and a number 1. We've always been questioning who the number 2 is really, or do we even have a number 1? Like, these are important questions that we've been asking year in and year out. Have we also had 2 super viable pass catching tight ends? I don't think we have. At the same time, along with the wide receiver core that we're talking about, even if we take Justin out of the mix, that offense is built and ready to go. I'm hype, y'all.
Hey,
and we should be. We should be because it's, and people have been accused of being called a homer, and I get it. I understand. I said, but it's also I'm looking at what we brought in, and how this has been built. It's been built correctly, as one of the guys just said in the previous comments. It's been built the right way. All right, young guys, a mix of veterans, and the thing is, you got every single one he brings in is hungry for something. They're fighting for something. Like I talked about the running backs. All right, you're fighting to keep your job, you're fighting to get a job or audition for somebody, or you're fighting just to break through, just to get some time. Either way, you're fighting, and I love it. And there's no better way to build a team that every single position people are fighting, because it just raises the level of competition. And not only does it raise the level of competition, but if someone gets hurt, because some people do get hurt in the NFL, I don't know if people know that, it's you got a guy behind who's been competing at a level that's probably pretty close to the guy who's started. So the drop off isn't going to be that great, and you can still roll. So I'm really excited about it. I really can't wait till the first preseason game just to start beating somebody else up, and instead of each other. I just can't wait for fresh meat and them to kind of explode. And it's not going to be anything fancy, but I just want to see good solid. Give me a lot of 5 and 6 yard running plays. You know what I'm saying? Break one for maybe 8 or 11, somewhere like that, and I'll be excited.
Hey,
I think preseason is going to be interesting too, because another sneaky good signing was the signing of PJ Walker, man, as a backup QB. Man, he's a guy who's had a lot of good success in this NFL. I know he took the back door into the league, but he's played some good ball on other teams, man, before coming here, and I'm looking forward to him helping with the development of those young wide receivers too. So we should see some good offense this preseason, just because of the fact that we have a quarterback who knows the game and who understands defenses. And, hopefully he can learn this offense a little bit sooner than later. He gets a good grasp of it. But I think that'll be really good for the development of these young wide receivers that we have on this team.
Hey, Sam, I saw a comment from Joseph Matuzak that just made me – I left it up there for a while. But he said more or less in turn – he said, Joseph Matuzak says, this offense doesn't look like it is deficient in any specific category, which is the first in 40 years for him. See, I love talking to people who are steeped in the history of the Bears. Like I woke up to a comment in my DM on Twitter. There's a guy, he's 75 years old. I don't know why he divulged that to me, but he wanted me to know from his perspective. And I think that was a context for him to let me know how long he had been watching the Bears and rooting for the Bears. A 75-year-old guy. He said, I've never seen a GM like this, that was this competent and was able to refurbish a roster like this with this much talent in my whole entire life. And I was just like, I almost wanted to screenshot that to put it up here, but I thought that was revealing to me. Sean knows a lot about Bears history, but we talking about a 75-year-old guy that's just out of the blue just decided, hey, let me tell this to Nomad. So I appreciate you, guy. I forget your name, but I'll get to that next time.
So he might also have that Cedric Turner gif on in his back pocket too. I wanted to hit this Lee Bruin comment because he's right. That team is probably the closest offensively to what we're talking about now, and they put up awesome numbers in their time. That was probably, if I'm correct, that was probably our best offensive group over, I don't know, maybe the past 20 years. I might be short on that. It might be a bit longer than that. But add one more receiver, add another number 2 receiver in there, and then add 2 backup running backs in there. It's a dangerous situation, and we're not even talking about having an actually stout offensive line yet. We need to see that, but it could be very stout. We know they're dangerous in the run game. Let's see what they can do in the pass game this year too. And you're talking about short runs. I'm kind of interested in short pass game. That's what I'm interested in, that yak. And somebody made a comment a little bit earlier on about yak getting us to 4,000 yards. And I think these guys actually have the ability to do that in the short game. That's what I want to see this year.
Yeah, if you remember a lot of the concepts that Green Bay uses is the crossing, the mesh concepts, the pick concepts, whatever. Man, just imagine DJ, or just imagine Tyler Scott and Bayless Jones. All right, Bayless Jones is probably going to get most of his time on special teams, but he'll be in there on offense a little bit. Just imagine them running a pick route. All right, and whoever comes open, getting the ball to him, and good luck chasing him. Good luck chasing those jokers. All right, last year I asked Herb Howard from the Bigs and Zach Pearson from BearReport.com. I'm like, I said they're talking about this Bayless Jones dude, his speed. Can you tell? And they're like, oh yeah, he got that extra gear. I said, okay. So this year, when Tyler Scott got there, I'm like, hey, I asked you this last year about Bayless. What about Tyler? They're like, dude, this dude got that extra gear. He goes just like Bayless. He goes, it's noticeable. So that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly in that short game, man. You get a DB to have to, go over the top, on a pick route. Good luck.
Holy smokes!
That's like help.
Now you're really opening up the field. Right now, you're really opening up the field. That's crazy. I'm so hyped to see this. I want to see what this all looks like. And if the defense can bend not break, I think we might be in a much better place than a lot of other people out there think.
What we did? And this is what we did, and I thought was really, really awesome by Poles. Again, sounds like he pays me to talk about him, but if you think about it, think of any defense: football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer. If you're strong up the middle, chances are you're going to have a good defense. Give me a sport, and I'll tell you how I can show you. So what he did, it looks like, so he brought in Billings, the dude who's a monster for a nose tackle. He got a lot of those youngsters. All right, Javon Dexter, Travis Bell, all right, Zach with 2 C's, Pickens. All right, he got these guys to fortify the middle. The linebacking crew, we just signed a new linebacking crew, legit linebacking crew. Now, and then in the back end, you got Eddie Jackson, who was having a phenomenal year last year until he got hurt. Jaquan Brisker is a lot more comfortable now in the second year in the system. We're stout in the middle, up the middle, first level, second level, third level. That's going to go a long way for us in getting short fields, getting the defense off the field, getting the offense on the field. And when you start giving Justin Fields short fields, yeah, your defense is going to be and tired too, because you just came off and now it's 3 and out, or now it's a pick, now it's sudden change, and now the defense got to go right back on the field. You're like, damn, the way he built the defense, the strength up the middle is going to be key. Stopping the run, man. Again, hats off to our guy Ryan Poles. Damn, he's trying to get a statue of him out.
Sean, we spent a lot of time doing a lot of shows during this off season, and this is probably I can say it's right in the upper tier of the most important things that need to be established with this team for it to be good and be successful. No team is as good as or bad as its backups. So the backups to the backups, the depth on the team, that's what's important. We know pretty much what we have as far as starters across on the 22 for the most part, but the backups are just as important as these starters. So what do you guys feel about the depth? Do you have if I had to question anything right now, and it's only because I haven't seen these guys in pads, it's going to be the O-line depth. You guys got any other areas you want to talk about? Feel free.
Yeah. And I say it with a chagrin because we're just gonna go back to the original place. So I don't understand. I will never personally get the logic of not doing something on those edges. When you have resources to address it, I don't understand the idea of standing pat. Doesn't make any sense to me. If you're trying to save money for future stuff, sure, but right now, if I'm correct, I think we're still under the cap requirement. I think he still has to spend money. Why not spend some money?
It might not. Don't forget, it might not be him. I mean, it takes 2 to tango. You know what I'm saying? It takes 2 to tango.
You're right. In that respect, I can't agree, right? If they don't want to come here, if they don't want to accept the offer, we can't force them to make the offer. And in that scenario, we're forced to stand pat. But I expect them to, at the very least, kick the tires on a bunch of guys. And it kind of sounds like they're doing that right now. It sounds a heck of a lot more real since this last press conference with Poles. But again, that could just be hype.
Again, I respect his restraint, man, and not just going out because you have money
Man.
doesn't mean you have to just throw it around, man.
Right.
That's what got us in trouble in the past, man, with Ryan Pace. He would just go out and sign these big money guys, and they get here and not produce as well. That was really what happened with Khalil Mack, to be honest with you. We got Khalil Mack one good year. After that, man, it was just issue after issue after issue, man. You want to make sure you're signing the right guy at the right price. There's no rush in going to, go out and just run the credit card bill up right now just because we have the money to spend. We're going to see what we have, allow those prices to come down, and then we'll execute and say, you know what, we do need someone, and if in the preseason the defensive ends aren't looking good, then of course you're willing to spend a little bit more money at that point. Now I might add another M or two to whatever contract that I'm looking to dish out. But until we get to that point, man, I think that he's doing the right thing and just, staying pat. The one position that I have concerned about, though, is safety. At the depth at safety, we don't know what we have there, and we left DHC out.
Well, they got that kid out of They got that kid out of Stanford that they're trying to groom. Wilkerson. That's right. So we'll.
Isn't there another safety too? Who played
from last year? Hicks
played well last year. Yeah, I thought he played very well.
Towards the end, he played well.
Yeah, well, that was really when he got his opportunity, right? Eddie was healthy for the better part of the season.
It's just rookies being rookies, taking licks as rookies have to do. So, and before I get into a conversation about Tyreek, I just wanted to address the edge thing. It's an interesting way to look at the whole situation because Joseph Matuzak said Poles isn't desperate, he's interested. And that's the right way to be. Why? Because I come at it from an angle of when you got some guys on your roster that you are looking to see what they can provide, why go out there and rush and spend money and you haven't put them in pads yet to find out? See how that makes sense? I mean, there might be a situation where a trade might come available that you can't turn down, or a free agent for the right price that you can't turn down. You might jump on that immediately. But unless that happens, I think you have to put these guys in pads and see exactly what you're getting.
So I agree. Now, I'm going to say something just with respect to the word desperation. You also don't want to be in a desperate situation and then have to negotiate, right? You lose your leverage in that situation. So the longer he waits, if we make it into preseason and it becomes apparently obvious that these guys on the edge are not going to cut it, immediately the dollar signs go up. Those contracts are large. You don't think so?
Here's why.
Why wouldn't it? Why?
Here's why I believe so. Is that I think building we talked about the strength, building the defensive line from inside out, is the way to do it. Because if you're a quarterback, you ask any quarterback, Pop Warner, flag football, the place that they hate pressure the most is not from the edge.
Coming right up the middle.
Right up the middle. So when you get these guys, and they can't step up and replace and go to the side where that pressure, where the defensive end's coming from, if you can't step up, that's a problem. All right, because that causes lack of follow through sometimes. It causes possibility of hitting your offensive lineman in the back of the head with your hand following through. It causes a lot of problems. So the edge rushers, if you can get them, perfect. But how many times have we seen great edge rushers just go around, they beat their tackle, and quarterback steps up and goes right where the pressure came from. Now he just bought an extra 3 to 5 seconds. Like, damn. Mm-hmm. All right. So when you can't step up, now there's a problem. Now there's a big problem. So he can say, and here's his leverage. Like, you want to come here, here's the contract we're offering you. You see how we're doing. They'll tell us his representation. Like, we don't need the edge. We want the edge. We want you here. But look what we're giving you. We're giving you guys pressuring up the middle, so this guy can't move. We're literally handing you sacks on a silver platter. So here's the thing, and if not, guess what? We got 2 first-round draft picks next year that we can go. We can address that edge position next year, and now we got young guys across the board, and we don't even need. And now we're on rookie contracts. If they're 2 first-rounders, man, we got them for 5 years, 4 plus the option. Come on, man, that's a lot cheaper than what I'm saying. So again, Ryan Poles, hats off to you, Maestro.
And that's what we still don't know the depth on the offensive line because they're so young. We don't know how the defensive line rotation will be, but we know they're young. But you look at each linebacker room is massively upgraded since Ryan Poles took on GM position here. You know, the running back room is crowded. We're looking at the numbers, trying to figure out who's going to make the team or not. We're looking at depth in the wide receiver room. So other than, you know, safety and offensive line, you know, this new era of young Bears, these little cubs are coming in the form, and with the picks and with the flexibility with the flexibility that we have going into next year's draft, you know, those deficits, you know, that identify themselves this year, you know, where a young guy doesn't step up and, you know, with given the opportunity, it's like, all right, now we go out and we draft these positions high that we need to fill out these groups. But just the change of we're going to have to cut guys that in previous years would have been starters for us. So I think we're in a great position.
So before anybody said,
you.
before, because J2K mentioned something, he put up a comment a little bit back. He mentioned something that I hadn't heard, but I found intriguing because he says that Terrell Smith played some free safety today. And so why that makes sense to me, because he's 6'2", 205 pounds. And so he's got the body, and he's got the body type to actually be effective at safety free safety or strong. So I do like that. If it's a development that's real, I like that.
That's the kid out of Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And here's another thing. You talk about the floor that you talk about leaving. That who's to say Ryan Poles has to go spend it on somebody else? Daniel Greenberg in Twitter today. Is this today? The 27th? No, it was a couple of days ago. Said Chicago Bears general manager Ryan Poles said he had a player come up to him after the practice and said, you sent a ton of energy through the locker room because you were taking care of the guys in there. So if you see guys, you see guys that you like, there's nothing wrong with him extending him in increasing the payroll this year. Okay. And look at Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet, 50 mil, 32.8 guaranteed. You know how much he's getting this year? 20 mil. Yep. He's getting 20 mil this year. So next year, so that increases or that decreases the amount they have to reach to get to the floor. So next year, when he's not making 20 mil, guess what? Now he's still got money. This dude is doing it right, and people don't understand how, you know, if you're not a football guy and deal with the cap, you're just like, oh, they scored a touchdown, yay. You're not understanding how well this is being done because, man, if we need we find an edge rusher next year for in a trade value who wants a new contract, and we can get him and he's young, man, we got the money. We will have the money. So
this is what I'm saying. We top load those contracts, and away we go. It's a smart move for him. It's a smart move for the future because obviously he's going to have to sign Justin at some point if everything works out. Same token, we're talking about Jalen Johnson. We're talking about Darnell Mooney. These are all guys that he has to potentially look at. Chase Claypool as well. He has to look at all these guys and potentially make room for all of them. So top-loaded contracts is really what's going to provide that space and room for him to do so. Even then, we're under the cap now. There's still money to be spent. There's still room to do some of that stuff. I don't expect to see any movement with Jalen, Chase, or Mooney. And obviously not. I don't see any movement with any of those four up until midway through the season. Once he's got a full understanding as to what these guys, could do in the future.
Patience, people. Patience, Bears fans. You gotta be patient, man. I just put it to you this way, and I'm not just giving Poles this blank check to say, hey, man, he's doing, to me, from my perspective and the way I see him doing this thing, I think I just take my hat off to him. I think he's doing it the exact right way. And I believe, Bears fans have talked themselves into there's going to be an edge rusher signing. They're convinced of it. I'm not so much. But if we got one, I'd be happy. But I'm more interested in seeing what happens when they put on the pads. And that will reveal everything, whether it's a need or just a want. A lot of people want something, but do we really need it? That's when you find out is when we put on those pads, and that's next Wednesday.
It sounds like Poles is earning the trust of the players, and he's earning the trust of the fans right now. So he's winning on both fronts right now, dog. I even like the comments from Darnell Wright earlier today when he says that, you know, how excited Poles was when he finished the conditioning test, when he killed the conditioning test, which he overplayed, which he trained for. And he says that, you know, Poles was really excited when he came off the sideline, you know, gave him high fives and all that. And then he sends him a gift later, you know, of Drake or something, some cool gift. You know, how many GMs out here doing that or connected on with the players on that type of level, man, and just have that building that trust with your players, man, and that camaraderie. You know, I think he feels like he's one of the guys sometimes when he's out there once the season starts. So it's just good to hear, man, that we finally have a responsible person running this organization. The leadership at the top is trickling down from, you know, GM to the coaching staff. Also seems like they're pretty competent from last year, you know, being in every game last year. Guys, we were competitive on all fronts. Even though we didn't have the talent this year, we have a much more talented roster. It's just feeling like everything is coming together.
Man, it just reminds me of Ryan Pace, and it makes me smile. It's such a different experience with Ryan Poles. He's up front. Hey, you know what? I'll do an impromptu press conference right now in Dallas. Who cares? I don't even know what the room looks like. I'll just do it over here. What a difference in comparison to a guy, you know, peeking in to see what's going on, and maybe, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to go in that room. I'm not going to have that press conference. You know, we only meet with the press a couple of times a year.
Let's switch it up.
Yeah, man.
Let's switch it up right quick, because I want to ask this to Sean before we get out of here, man. So you've been hearing about Tyreek he's taking L's like a big dog in practice all camp. He's taking all kinds of L's. I could say what I want to say on this, but I'd rather hear your perspective first. What do you think about that?
I'm happy as hell. I'm happy as hell. All right, because you're getting beat by one of the best wide receivers. He's one of the top wide receivers in the league. So if you get a guy who's going to be not the caliber of a DJ Moore, guess what? You've been getting your ass whooped by DJ Moore all camp. Okay. If I were Tyreek, I'd be like, let me travel with this dude. I need to learn. I need to get my ass beat. I need to get burned like a son of a gun, because I need to shorten that learning curve for me. And the way you do it is you play against an all-pro. You play against a dude who is a stud day in, day out, because you're going to learn some tips. You're right, Matt. Iron sharpens iron. You're going to learn some tips. He's going to beat you on a route because he did this. Guess what? When you see another wide receiver do that same thing, you're going to, I got you. DJ does this all the time in practice. I cannot be more ecstatic. He's making plays too. You know, there was a play he going across the middle that Justin just underthrew us to Chase Claypool, I think it was. I saw on film, and he jumped up and knocked it out of bounds. So he's no buster. All right, but when he's still not at that level of DJ Moore. But guess what? Every day that he's covering DJ Moore and he's getting schooled, it's exactly that. He's getting schooled. He's learning. And when it comes time, and he's going to take his lumps, he'll get beat by, you know, stud wide receivers during the regular season. It's the nature of the beast. But guess what? He'll make a lot more plays. And as the season goes on, he won't start making plays in week 14, 15, 16, 17. It might be week 8, 9, and 10. And those few weeks sooner that he's gotten better, that could be the difference between 2 or 3 or 4 wins.
So, Sean, you know, all the loudmouths they traffic Twitter in a big time way. So I've been waiting on some dude, just because so many videos keep coming out, so many tweets keep coming out. Tyreek Stevenson's getting beat. Tyreek Stevenson's getting burned. And all this. I've been waiting for somebody to call him a bust, because the loudmouths will do that. I can't wait till somebody does it so I can hack them up. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about to say something like that. But somebody, I haven't seen it yet. Not saying that it hasn't happened. I haven't witnessed it yet. But somebody is going to get, some loudmouth is going to get out there, and I can't wait. I just want to see that tweet. So you guys do something, man. Say something to me so I can find that tweet so I can tear him up, man.
I'll keep my eyes peeled on that. Honestly, this is exactly what you want to see, right? You want to see your rookie DB up against the number one wide receiver. That gets him reps against top caliber talent. He should be getting burned on a regular basis. If he isn't getting burned on a regular basis,
what are we saying about DJ Moore?
You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about DJ Moore. I'm worried. So he should be. That's exactly what should happen. He's going to learn from it, get better from it. And this is exactly when you want him to be burned. You don't want to be burned in the regular season. Get burned all day, all month long, brother. Learn what you need to learn. I'm happy about it.
I'm not concerned about it. I know he needs to take his licks. Every corner, every defensive back has to go through that as like a ritual, like a rite of passage. You got to get your behind kicked out there to get better. Same thing happened to Kyler Gordon, but what do you keep hearing?
Bingo.
What do you keep hearing now? Go ahead, Shaw.
Dude, I was just gonna say that. I was like, but you jumped in, Kyler Gordon, and he that's it, man. He was getting burned because they threw a lot at him. They put him under pressure. Basically, they're burning him. Like, all right, you're outside. Now you're inside. Now you're outside. Now you're inside. He's got to learn two different positions in a different scheme, and then finally, like, okay, you're better inside. Boom, and they left him in there, or they left him in one spot, and then he flourished, dude. And remember, at the end of the year last year, there were a lot of PBUs, man. There were a lot of pass breakups, a lot of deflections, a couple of picks, and that's with no pass rush. No pass rush. That's because that secondary was because they took their licks, they improved, they got better, and without a pass rush, man, they were still making plays. So any upgrade in the pass rush, man, they're gonna be dancing. They need some dancing shoes, boy, because they're gonna be dancing in the end zone a lot. Yeah, or at least trying to go to house, take a house call.
So I mean, it's real simple, man. I got one of my I got a few homeboys, my college teammates came into town today to check on me. But one of them's a DB, and he mentioned that to me today, and he was just like, man, I heard y'all cornerbacks out there getting work. I said, yeah. He was just like, that's good. That's exactly what's supposed to be happening for him this time of year. He knows what it takes. And let me tell you something about Tyreek Stevenson. One thing you just listen to Tyreek Stevenson talk. You watch his game when he plays. That guy doesn't lack for confidence, man. There's nothing adverse to what's going on with him so long as he stays healthy and he's learning. The fact that he's got, and I said this last night when we were talking to Herb, the fact that he's got Peanut out there to brush up against and lean on a little bit, someone that can help him tweak something in real time is invaluable, man. You have no idea how much that happened. It's not like Peanut's 30 years removed from the game. It's not been that long. You know what I mean? He knows exactly what to tell that guy. Little things that you can do with your alignment, little things you can do with just making sure that you keep the right kind of distance or close a distance at the right time, which hand to use, all kinds of things you can tell him in real time that will help that young man develop. So don't worry about Tyreek Stevenson. He is a dog.
Yeah, that's what training camp is for, man. So iron can sharpen iron, like you said, man. And Jalen Johnson even spoke about it earlier today, man, saying that, he's been specifically making sure that he's helping these rookies and Stevenson and Smith, coaching them up because he knows he's going to have to lean on those guys this year. It's early in camp. That's what camp is for, so you can learn, you can get your technique down. Like Big Reich said earlier today, some of the things that worked in college don't work in the league. You're going to try it and people are going to correct it and get your technique together. And from there on, you're going to ball.
I'm hoping that the Peanut really gets him involved and really reinforces or drives home the turnover issue. Create turnovers. Remember, Peanut would get ran the hell over, dog. But you know what? He would drop his head. But you know what? As he's going back, pow! He punched that ball out. Boom! That ball's on the ground. So Peanut got trucked, but guess what? 3 or 4 of his boys are over there pouncing on a loose ball. Those things, you teach that, and that's guess what happens when receivers get you squared up. Now they're worried. Because now they're worried because they see it once. If they square you up and now you get to square up with them, all right, where you go away from me, cool. I can poke it from behind, regardless. If he starts getting that reputation, people start getting receivers. It's going to spread fast, and receivers are not going to be as free or as loose because their first priority is going to be is ball control and ball security. And if that's the case, man, they're not going to be trying to shake and get a hell of a lot more yak. They're just trying not to lose the ball. And that alone is a win when you're just trying not to lose the ball as opposed to trying to get yak and break away for a big one. So hopefully Peanut instills in them even more than Coach Eberflus and Williams are instilling them, because you talked about Nomad. He ain't removed that far. He ain't that far removed from the league. This is a guy, a young guy. Sometimes you just need to hear from different from a different voice.
Right. Hey, I got a question as a running back yourself. Word has it that Roschon Johnson put the ball down a couple times. As a running back who your entire career you've run the ball, what makes you get fumbleitis or not? Or why are you fumbling when you're not normally fumbling? What is the fumbling all about? Is it mental? Is it the physical as a running back?
It depends. It depends. So a lot of times when you're rookies, all right, they're going to do everything extra to strip the ball, all right, and see what you got. Because if you hold on to it, because a lot of times they'll try and strip it, and if they get it, they ain't trying to tackle you, then they're just going for the strip, okay? And if they realize after a while that they're not able to strip it, then that's when they're going to start tackling. So a lot of it has to do with how the defense attacks you, okay? Because you want to test out a new guy. Because what does the defensive coach want more? A big hit, or you want the ball on the ground? You want the ball on the ground so your team can get it. So that's what they're going to do to a young guy. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they're doing, to say, hey, what kind of ball security do you have? All right. Secondly, there's just drills, and it's got to become second nature. You're going to have to hold that ball. When I was in college, one day I fumbled twice in practice one time. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Man, I had to carry the ball around. I had to carry the ball around campus. The coach in front of the team. Shit you not. In front of the team, he's like, he said, if anyone knocks this ball out anytime during the day, you let me know. He's running after practice. I'm like, so I had to, except when I'm eating, in the mess hall, in the dining hall. Other than that, if I'm walking in on the campus, up to one class, or another class, to practice, wherever, to the parking lot, whatever, someone comes up and pops it out, I had to run. So it has to be a focus that you have, is the pressure points on the ball at all times, especially in traffic, especially when you're about to have contact, even if it's just one-on-one contact. And sometimes you forget, because you're trying to make a move. You're very comfortable with, I can get past this guy, and your ball security becomes lax, and that's all up here. Most of it, not all of it. Most of it's up here.
Man, this, you know what? Sean's got me all turned up, sweating under the armpits. I got to get another shower. I'm all hyped, man. I love talking football with football people, man. I absolutely love this kind of stuff. This is why we do these shows, man, because people love it, but we love it too. We love it just as much as you guys too. And before we get out of here, I want you guys to make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, because tonight, and this is why we got to get out of here now, we got a few hours to kill before we do another Nomad at Night, a special episode for you guys, man. So I think we're going to do that about 9-ish. Am I right, Sam?
Yep, 9 tonight. It's on and popping.
Okay, man. If you want to come back, Sean, you want to continue the conversation, I'll get you another invite, Jack. You know you my brother, man. You can come back anytime you want to. I meant it.
I appreciate it, man. I'll let you know.
Okay, man. Hey, you guys got any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, man. Just thanks, Sean, man. You want to let everybody know where they can reach you, man, because Sean has a lot of good content. I know everybody enjoyed you today. So, want to let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me personally. You can find me at the Sean Sierra, TheShawnSierra. And more importantly, follow me at Sports Zone Chicago. All right, on Facebook, Twitter. On Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, we're at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we're at Sports Zone Shy. Who the hell took Sports Zone Chicago on Twitter, you jamokes? But anyway, it's Sports Zone Shy, CHI, on Twitter.
My man.
Oh, also, sorry. Also, we have a mobile app you can download, and we also have a Roku channel. So if you have a Roku TV in the house, you can download the Tile, and you can watch me on a big screen, and all of our shows on Sports Zone Chicago on the big screen. So you can check that out as well. Thank you.
My man, Sean, man. Sure appreciate you being here, man. Like I told you, I meant it. Anytime you want to, man, you just say the word, man. You're in there.
I appreciate the invite, man.
No problem, my brother, man. So on behalf of the Nomad Network, Nomad Live, stay tuned. In a few hours, 9 o'clock tonight, we'll be right back with a special episode of Nomad at Night. So I want to see you guys there. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, that notification bell, so you know exactly what time we're coming on, fellas and ladies. Love, peace, and hair grease, guys.
Deuces. Salute. Bear down.